Hello again and welcome to A-Level 3D Design at East Norfolk Sixth Form College. What is 3D design? Well, the work of 3D design is evident in all aspects of our daily lives, from the beds we sleep in to the styling of the smartphone in your hand. 3D designers play an important role in shaping the world we inhabit. 3D designers will also be at the forefront of trying to ensure the Earth's diminishing resources are used considerately into the future. Meet the teachers. Well, that's me on the left, hand on pillar drill, and that's Sue on the right, in grey. Who are we? Well, Sue has a background in surface pattern, textile and crafts, and I have a background in furniture design and crafts. We're both still practitioners of art and design, both making our own work at home when we're not teaching. And we're both very passionate about 3D design. The course. Well, the full course lasts 2 years. The AS year has 2 parts, an introductory skills building period and an assessed creative personal inquiry. During the skills building period, you will learn workshop, digital, drawing and design skills. The creative personal inquiry allows you to develop and make work for a personal project that you negotiate with your tutors. A-level, that's the second year, has 2 components, personal investigation and exam. Personal investigation requires you to determine your own research project and produce both a practical outcome and write a 2,000 to 3,000 word research paper. The exam asks for a personal response to titles the exam board sets, at the end of which you have a 15-hour period to make a final piece. We're often asked, what other subjects does 3D design go well with? Well, any other art and design specialism, that's fine art, graphics, textiles and photography, that are all done at the college. Maths and physics are often popular ones for those wanting to study architecture. Engineering is another popular choice, another mix that goes well. Geography is also another one that we've had lots of students doing, and games design. But we've had students from the full range of courses at East Norfolk do 3D. After all, it is a life skill. Here you'll see the 4 assessment objectives. These are written by the exam board, so the language is quite formal, but I'll talk you through them. AO1 is basically developing ideas. They say, through sustained and focused investigations informed by contextual and other sources, demonstrating analytical and critical understanding. We'll make that clear to you if that isn't, if they aren't words that you find easy to take in. AO2 is about exploring. They say, explore and select appropriate resources, media, materials, techniques and processes, reviewing and refining ideas as work develops. So as well as exploring, you have to do all that as well. AO3 is about recording ideas. They say, record ideas, observations and insights relevant to intentions, reflecting critically on work and progress. Well, basically, that means that you just have to record everything that you do in a folder and present it as evidence. AO4, the last one, asks you to present. They say, present a personal and meaningful response that realises intentions and, where appropriate, makes connections between visual and other elements. Basically, what that means is you have to make a final piece of work that truly reflects the effort and ideas that you've put into the project as a whole. So, at the end of the day, you'll make a final piece of work. Well, I suppose in some respects this is the bit that is most interesting, where you see the work that other students have undertaken. These are the final pieces that we talked about in the last slide. The one on the left there is a design for an Arctic substation that was designed by Adam, who was with us a few years ago. He's now studying architecture at Lincoln University and doing really well. He was very adept at using the laser cutter, at drawing up making plans that were then laser cut using hardboard. That's grey painted hardboard, and the windows were cut from acrylic, and it's set on a base of plaster, photographed in the car park. You can see the gravel there. The second piece is a little bit more abstract, but really interesting process. They are, I wonder whether you can guess how they've been made. Many people struggle with this one, but Tiff didn't, and she was a student that came to us from Macau and studied with us some years ago now. She's now a teacher of design technology in Birmingham. Anyway, that was a response to a project that she set herself for developing ideas for play parks. So instead of your average swings and slides, they were abstract forms that children could play over, could climb up and slide down, sit on and crawl through. And they were the organic parts were cast inside rubber balloons using plaster. Obviously, the green grass there is to represent the park. That was a really interesting piece of work in terms of the materials used. Well, on this page we can see some 3D work and also some samples of sketchbook pages, or folder pages as we call them these days. We use folders instead of sketchbooks. Anyway, the top left you can see some one-point perspective drawing there, and some design work done using collage. So that's an interesting technique, rather than using paint and like coloured pencils, actually using cut paper, making an attractive page there. The second one in from the left there is a wooden children's toy, a transporter, made using pine and little bits of inner tube there for the tyres on the wheels. Again, photographed in the car park, adding a dramatic touch there as the Mercedes comes to plough over it. No, it was stationary. Don't worry. And then the third image there on the right is a photograph of what we call a maquette. That's a designer's model made using cardboard. So a series of photographs, and you present your work like this in your folder, showing how an idea develops and what materials you've used along the way. And the bottom left, there are two pieces there. That was quite a long time ago now. That was Matthew, who made the light, the orange light there with its elegant thin black steel legs. He went off, just a point of interest there, he went off to Loughborough to do engineering, and he's done a master's degree in engineering now, and I assume as an engineer. We kind of lost touch with him now, but he was a very good student. He did maths and physics in 3D, that comes to mind now. And then Paul made that the chair, which is an incredible achievement really in the time. That was done for his second year exam piece, made in what we then had was 12 hours to make the final piece. He made formers for all of those parts that the chair is comprised of, and it was quite a task. I remember he was really under pressure there to get that done, but it works, it functions, and it's very comfortable. And then next to that on the right, the orange lamp, that was designed by a student called Steen Bryant, who came to us from a school in Lowestoft. He went off to study architecture at Leicester and ended up doing really well there. He got a first-class degree and was offered jobs immediately upon people coming to his degree show and seeing the work he'd done on that course in Leicester. And he's now an architect in London, for architectural practice in London. And then on the right there, we've got another light, larger scale this time, made from short lengths of wood that we cut up on the bandsaw, and each of those pieces is pegged together with a little piece of dowel. It took him a long time, that did, but you can see it's quite effective. That model, that full-size final piece, was derived from a model he made using matchsticks and a hot glue gun. So he developed it up, did research, filled the whole sketchbook with ideas, and then made that final piece. Beautiful thing, which he took home on the roof of his parents' car. I remember seeing it drive off from the college car park wondering whether it would survive, but it did, and it's still there to this day, I believe. Anyway, there's a good spread of work there for you to look at. Student destinations. Well, what do students do when they finish the course and move on? Well, some, of course, go out into the world and get jobs or apprenticeships. But quite a fair proportion of our students do end up opting to do a degree in art and design, well, art design or architecture. This isn't an exhaustive list of all the universities that students have taken places up at, but it offers a fair spread. The 3D design course here has been going since about 1998, and I've been teaching on it since 2003. So you can imagine hundreds of students now have gone through, and this is just a sample of the sorts of courses that students have gone on to do, and a spread of universities that they've applied to. So in architecture, the top one there, the Bartlett, it's known as the Bartlett at University College London, is a very prestigious course, usually ranking in the top 3 of the country's architecture courses, and we've been lucky. We've placed 3 students there over the years. Newcastle upon Tyne University is another high-ranking one. We've had 2 or 3 students go there. Sheffield University again is another top one. We've placed students there. There's also De Montfort University, which is very good in Sheffield. We've had students go there. Lincoln seems to be a popular one with students because it's not so far from Norfolk. And the architecture course there is really good. Norwich, NUA, the Norwich University of the Arts, is another popular one, again with students who don't want to move too far from Norfolk. We've even had students who commute from Galston to go to Norwich and do a degree, which is another option, making it cheaper, of course, saving on the accommodation fees. Leicester is another one. Steen, we saw the work of on the previous slide. He had a really good experience there, and we've also had one student get into Cambridge University to study architecture, Stephen, and he now is an urban planner. He decided at the end of the course he didn't want to do architecture, but instead be an urban planner, so he's doing that really successfully, and we're still in touch with him, as we are with many of the other students who've done architecture. Interior design is another popular choice. We've had a student a few years ago went up to Edinburgh University, which is all the Scottish universities are very good for art and design, the ones that offer it, that is, and Edinburgh is a really good interior design course, and we got her in there. And we've also had a student 2 years ago go to Nottingham Trent University, which has a very good interior design course. And then there are courses in product, industrial and furniture design. Again, there are lots of names for similar courses, but top ones are Loughborough and Brunel. We've had students go there. We've been lucky having students go there. We're still in touch with students who've just finished, just graduated, and indeed students who are still on courses there. So we can put you in touch with students who have not only completed the course at a university you might want to go to, but also put you in touch with students we've got who are currently doing the course. So when you go for open days, you can meet students who've done 3D at East Norfolk, which is great. And students in the past have found that really helpful, meeting up with someone who, maybe even went to the same school that you did. Coventry University is a really prestigious course. They do an automotive design course, which is always really popular, and we've had students go off to do that. Bath Spa do a 3D design degree, which is a more wider ranging course, which might appeal if you're not sure which specialism to do. Plymouth University is another good one that we've had 3 students go to and have done really well. Mark, who did the big matchstick light, he went there, and one summer whilst on that course he got a place working with a famous fine artist in London as a summer job, so he did really well. And we had a student 2 years ago now go to Eindhoven Design Academy, which is in the Netherlands. That's Beric Brogan, really a very hard-working student. Went to a school in Galston, and she accompanied us on the trip we ran to Amsterdam, and basically fell in love with Holland. And we were talking to her on that trip, I remember, and I told her about the Eindhoven Design Academy, and she said, I want to come and study in Holland. And you know, she did it amazingly. They have an international range of students who study there, and highly competitive. Over 1,000 people every year apply, and they take on about 30 to 40 students, I believe, each year. So she did really well getting in there. We're still in touch with her. She's now in her 3rd year. So if you fancy studying in the Netherlands, that's also a possibility. And then craft design, well, that encompasses things like jewellery, millinery. We've had someone going off to do footwear design, and Brighton and Mid Cheshire College are both good places to go and do that. So that's just a few of the courses that we've had students go on to do. And yeah, we're you know, Sue and I both attend the UCAS Design Fair, so we're up to date with who's teaching on the courses, and we can really give you up-to-date knowledge. You know, we try and keep in touch with as many students as possible who you know, when they leave, they email us and often come back and give talks to students. So you'll benefit from not having to go to, you know, to Lincoln, example, to go and talk to someone. We'll get students back and they'll talk to you, show you the work, and give you advice on maybe going for your interview. All art design courses that we recommend you do will ask you to interview, where you take a portfolio of your work. So we'll prepare you and help you make a portfolio of work that will hopefully get you into the course that you want to do. So, you know, we're highly experienced and skilled at helping you get to the destination you want to go to. Careers. Well, we saw on the previous slide the sort of qualifications that you can get from doing the course. So moving from A-level 3D design onto university and doing a degree, well, that will ultimately obviously lead you to a career. So here's a list of careers that students from East Norfolk, having studied A-level 3D design, have gone on to do. So architect, as previously said, we've had lots of students now who've come through the course and ended up with a career as an architect. People working in different parts of the world, even designing or being part of a team that designs and builds buildings, the built environment. Furniture designers. We've got several students who are now successful furniture designers, having done 3D design at East Norfolk. Product and industrial designers. Both options that are available to you. And again, we've had several students who are now industrial designers. I remember one student who, when he was on the course, really was an enthusiastic Lego maker. He used to love working with Lego. He often would work ideas out using the little Lego tray of Lego that we've got down in the studio. Whilst on his degree course, he got a placement in Denmark with the Lego company. So he's doing really well as an industrial designer. We have people go on to do engineering. We talked about Matthew in one of the previous slides. He now is an engineer. He is now working for an engineering company. We've got craftspeople, people who have careers as craftspeople. Often they do that. They're a craftsperson alongside doing another job. But if you've got the passion and the commitment to doing it, you can be a craftsperson and support yourself partly through your craft, or wholly. Some people are lucky enough to make things that people want to buy, and you can sustain your life as a craftsperson. Theatre designers. We've had other people go off previously to do theatre design courses and become theatre designers. Model making, if you particularly like making models, rather than designing things, that's an option. There are courses in the country in model making that several of our students have gone on, and I assume are now model makers. Interior design, another really successful industry that allied to architecture. that students have gone on to do. And of course, we have lots of people who do the course who just like making things. And often they leave and they don't go to university. Instead, they get an apprenticeship. And we've had people come back. I've met people, students, you meet them in the street, or they come back and see me or see us. And they're now carpenters, joiners, plasterers, bricklayers, electricians. And they have, well-paid jobs in the construction industry. So that is another option. So you can see a wide range of careers are available if you do 3D design at East Norfolk. FAQs, frequently asked questions. Well, seeing as you're not here with us today, we thought we trawled our memory banks and we came up with some of the questions that come up time and time again when we do these taster days. So first one, do I need GCSE design technology, product design or resistant materials to do A-level 3D design? Well, the answer is no. It can help, but it's not essential. However, if you've not done an art and design related course at school, we will ask to see examples of your practical or creative skills in the form of drawings or photographs of things you've made at home. So it doesn't preclude you if you haven't done it at school, because we know that some schools don't offer GCSE art and design even now these days. So don't let that put you off. If you want to come here and do 3D design and you're passionate and you're really keen and enthusiastic to do it, we'll find a way of enabling that. So another question that's often asked, what materials will I need to buy for this course? Well, the answer is there is a comprehensive 3D design kit you can buy for the course from the college shop for a discounted price of around £20. Of course, lots of people have things at home that they can bring in, but we do recommend that you buy this kit. In terms of the materials for making final pieces, we do make a small charge for timber and plywood and hardboard, but it's a cost price. So we do try, and we know that money's tight for a lot of people, and we often use recycled materials which you don't have to pay for. So yeah, they're two of the frequently asked questions. Further questions: Is there a lot of digital work involved on the course? Well, the answer is there's a good mix of manual and digital work on the course. We use the digital software program SketchUp for making digital drawings of your ideas, and we have a laser cutter, a 3D printer and a CNC milling machine in our workshop, which we will help you learn to program. Another one, I've never been in a workshop. Will I be safe? Well, the answer is all students undertake a health and safety induction, and there is always a member of staff in the workshop to help and support you. The machinery is only ever dangerous if it is misused, so bear that in mind. No, we've not had any really major serious accidents, so yeah, you'll be safe. More questions. I want to be an architect. Is this the right course for me? Well, the answer is yes. We've helped dozens of students fulfil this aspiration, helping them gain places on some of the most prestigious courses in the country. We're still in touch with some of them who are now practicing architects, and they'll be coming in to give us talks about their experiences. Another question, how is this course different to the engineering BTEC at East Norfolk? Well, the answer is this is a creative, practical course where you will actually design and make things in a fully equipped studio and workshop. There are no written exams, unlike the engineering course, and the emphasis is on learning through doing rather than fact-based learning. An often asked question, do I need to be brilliant at drawing? I'm not very good, students will often say, or prospective students. Well, the answer is no. Everyone can learn to draw, and we will teach you skills that will help you get better. Reading list and useful links. Well, obviously, in this the world of the internet, there's a wealth of material and resources available to you. But books are still available too. And here are two that we recommend that you could buy in a bookshop if they're open when you're reading this, or you can buy them, of course, from the internet. Well, the first one, 20th Century Architecture, which is a really good book. and there's a link there to Amazon for you to buy it. You can buy it second hand, but we recommend, if you're an aspiring architect, to really do, get that one, read it, and start gelling up on which architects you like and which buildings, the sort of questions that you'll get asked at interview. So the sooner you start familiarising yourself with architects and architecture, the better. So start now, get that book before the summer, and read it by September. Only joking. Second book, 20th Century Design, another really good book. The link there to, it's a general design book, that one. Yeah, I mean, we say 20th century, we are in the 21st century now, but only the early part of it. And the 20th century was a period when design and mechanisation and the work of designers became more prominent. So that's really the century that we'll be looking back to most on the course. And then, of course, there are thousands, millions of films, well, probably millions, yeah, hundreds of thousands of films that you could find on the internet to inspire you. But one there that we recommend, How to Make an Attractive City, by Alain de Botton, a really interesting film that for you to look at. What we would like to ask you to do, if you're thinking of doing the course, is to write a 300-word reflection, so just a short piece, like an A4 side of writing, on one of the books or the films that you've seen. Just explain why you selected it and explain why it appealed to you. You could select some features from the film or some pages from the book and talk about a building or a chair or a piece of fabric design or some product design. So just make an attempt to write about why that piece appealed to you, or you could write a critique of the book. But yeah, if you could do that before you come, and in September we'll know what standard of writing you're at. And of course, the obligatory social media plug. We're on Facebook, we tweet and we Twitter, and some of us do Instagram. I don't do any of these things, but lots do. And you'll find lots of interesting work. We've got people uploading stuff all the time. So keep tweeting, Facebooking, and Instagramming East Norfolk and the 3D design course. Okay. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this little presentation, and we look forward to seeing you in September. Hopefully you'll come flocking, and we'll have a full course full of happy, busy, creative people. Okay, so from Sue and I, goodbye and good luck, and we hope to see you in September. Ta-ra!